On small business marketing, there are some strategies that have just been forgotten about that are super effective in the day and age of technology and Google Ads and Facebook ads and AI. There are some strategies that just hold true and work better now than they ever have in the past. And in today's video, we're going to go through one of them, which is flyers and leaflets. Hi everyone, I'm Jimmy and I'm the managing director of My Online Guy, which is a marketing agency I've been running now for 8 years. And I specifically help small business owners like yourself. And I also am the managing director of a company called Self-Run Marketing, which is designed for you to become your own marketing agency so you don't need a company like mine. I'm going to talk today about why I think that every business that is in that sort of service-based niche, doing concreting and all those hard jobs that no one else wants to do, they absolutely must be doing flyers and leaflets as part of their marketing strategy. Now, one thing I want to address is the elephant in the room. We have a lot of businesses that we work with in My Online Guy, and every single one of them wants to do the sexy stuff. Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO. They all want to do that stuff. And I don't necessarily understand why they want to do that stuff over the stuff that's been tried and true and worked forever. Because every business that comes into my agency that's a good fit, I always tell them to do flyers and leaflets on top of whatever we're going to be doing. And none of them seem to do it. And I don't necessarily understand why. So let me give you a few examples of clients that I've had where the flyers and leaflets have worked amazingly well and has fundamentally changed how their business operates to the point where they don't necessarily need Google ads and Facebook ads. So a little bit of background for those who don't know, a leaflet or a flyer is just a piece of paper that you drop into a mailbox or drop under a door, and that just has some details of your business with an offer on it. And what I was telling one of my clients to do, and he did resurfacing of driveways. So it's a very visible thing when you look at someone's house and they're getting their driveway redone, is I told him, okay, when you're there one day, just bring the kids down on a weekend and go and put flyers in every single door up and down the same street. That's all you have to do. Because you think about it from a logical person perspective. You see your neighbor getting their driveway done, or you see your neighbor there's a big van in their driveway and they're getting work done. You're naturally curious. You're like, I wonder what they're up to. I wonder what they're doing. And if you put a flyer in that mailbox and they read that and they realize that you're getting their driveway done, then they can have a conversation about it. And if you've done a good job, guess who else is getting it done on that street? And this is where the rubber meets the road with this stuff. So he basically did that. We helped him design a quick flyer, which essentially just had his details on it, had a picture of him with his family, and then had an offer for 10% off anyone else on the street. And in that street, so that it just started with one client, and that was the person that found him through Google. He got 10 other people in that street to do their driveways as well. So you got to think about it. How much does it cost to print out a piece of paper? There might have been 20 or 30 cents worth of paper, some ink, maybe $5 of ink, and he was able to acquire 10 customers with about $5 worth of time, effort, and energy, as opposed to Google ads where you might be spending $100 to acquire a customer depending on what you're doing. As far as return on investment goes, it's an incredible return on investment, and it doesn't necessarily need to be something so visible like driveways. It could be lawn mowing. Whenever you go and mow a street or you get someone on a new street, go ahead and drop a flyer in everyone on the street. You don't know who's looking for mowing. You don't know who's looking for pool cleaning. You don't know who's looking for new curbs. And it takes no effort. And yes, you might get some people that get upset that you drop someone in there, drop something in their mailbox. But most people, if they're looking for the service, are going to appreciate that you've gone to the effort to do it. And you're going to be the first person they call and it's going to be done. So obviously that's quite a small scale way of doing it. And there's no reason why most businesses can't do that. Let me talk about the reason why I think it works so right now and maybe ways you can scale it up. So why I think it works so well, flyers and letter drops, is just because no one does it anymore. So back in the 70s and 80s, that's all people used to do. When before the internet was really a big way of finding businesses, how else did people find businesses? They were dropping flyers in people's mailboxes, they were knocking on doors, and because of that, the effectiveness of that stuff dropped because there was just more people physically doing it. Now, with the advent of technology, it's a hard way of finding customers, so less people do it. Generally, in the marketing space, if something is harder to do, then there'll be less people doing it. And this is a very good example of that. It's just a lot harder to go and physically drop mail into people's mailboxes or let flyers into people's mailboxes than it is to just run, say, Google ads or Facebook ads. And you think about it, right? How often are you actually getting mail in your mailbox? It's not that often these days. Maybe the odd slip for a package, but most of it's done through text message and things like that. People are genuinely excited to get something through the mail. And if it's a nice flyer that's well written, that's got a decent offer on it, then people will actually keep that and keep you in mind when they're looking for that service. So I think that's why it's so effective right now, just because it's supply and demand. There's just less people doing it, so there's more upside to potentially going and doing the flyers and mails. Now, that's obviously small scale, but what if you were bigger scale? So I've got another client that does air conditioning for a whole city, and he has 20 or 30 vans on the road, and he does mail drops as well. And his mail drops are done through a company that he pays per drop. So they actually physically run around and do the drops for him. And he makes hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars from mail drops, mainly because no one does it. It's actually one of the most effective marketing channels. He does Google ads, Facebook ads, he does SEO, he does everything. But one of his most effective channels is mail drops, especially if he's trying to get into a new area. So he has these established markets, but when he's trying to approach a new suburb, a new area he hasn't done much work in, he just hits the area through one of these companies that does it on your behalf. There's plenty of them around. Just search leaflet companies or flyer companies and they'll go and do the drops for you and make sure it's all done legally and everything like that. He gets so much business from it in new areas because, again, you don't know who's looking for an air conditioner or a service until they're prompted to remind it. And the secret is you have a really good offer on it. So you make sure you have a compelling offer, because you got to remember that you're not paying very much to acquire these customers. So you can give them a little bit more of a discount than, say, someone that's doing Google ads, because it doesn't cost that much to acquire them. And you go and just drop it as a bit of a beachhead to get into a new area. And it works amazingly well for him. So you can do this at scale as well, but I would highly recommend that you do leaflets and flyers if you're a small business that's looking for new customers that are cheap and that is low effort, high impact. Now, you're probably sitting there going, Jimmy, I can't design a flyer to save my life. Where am I going to find this stuff? Canva is your best friend with this stuff. If you go onto Canva and just search flyer designs, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of flyer designs. Just go and pick one of them, change the colors, change the offer, change what's written on there, go and send it out. Don't put much effort into this stuff. Just print it out in color, get your kids to cut them with a pair of scissors and get the kids to run up and down the street, drop them in the mailboxes. In conjunction with doing good work, you've got to obviously do good work as well, but in conjunction with doing good work, you're going to see outstanding results right now with using flyers and mailers. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's flashy or not. You got to do things that work in marketing, especially when you're a small business, because you don't have an infinite budget. And if you do things that work, it doesn't matter if it's flashy or not. You get the job done, you keep your business going, you keep your livelihood together, and you make money. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. And if you have a question, just leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them in the next video. Otherwise, good luck in your business and I'll catch you in the next video.